Hey everyone, welcome to Area 616. Well, Spider-Man Homecoming is finally here, and I'm just gonna get right to it. It was fantastic. It did everything right. The characters, the acting, the story, the humor, the pacing, all of it was brilliant. We all knew that when Spidey came home to Marvel, he'd finally be done right, but they've gone above and beyond here. I mean, it completely met my expectations and in a lot of ways surpassed them. It doesn't mean it's a perfect movie. I think there were some flaws in Liz's character. I'm not going to go into any spoilery stuff, but I think maybe she was a bit too forgiving with Peter for him ditching them so many times. But even that didn't really bother me at all, and her character really was totally fine. She and Tom Holland had a lot of chemistry, and it was all good. Speaking of Tom Holland, he is the best Peter Parker and Spider-Man, no debate. There's absolutely no room for debate here. He just is. He was brilliant with both sides of the character, and this movie just got Spider-Man so right. They perfectly captured the spirit of the character, and that's what Sony's previous attempts have always failed to do, is capture his spirit. The supporting cast was great. Ned was awesome. He had a lot of great moments. I also liked Flash. He was great. I like that he wasn't just your cliche bully. I mean, he was in a way, but he was upgraded in some neat ways. Also, Aunt May was really great. I know there's a lot of people who prefer the older, wiser version of her, but this is probably my favorite version now. I like her younger just because it never made sense to me that Peter was 15 and Aunt May's like 70. I mean, she's his aunt, not his grandmother. Mid to late 50s, sure. I can see that, but she just seemed too old to me. Not impossible, of course, but I just prefer it this way personally. Happy was in it a lot, and he was great. It was neat to see him back in the MCU. He just kind of disappeared after Iron Man 3. As for Tony Stark, I was really happy with his role here. He was in it exactly as much as he needed to be, not too much and not too little. The Vulture and his gang were awesome. The Shocker and Tinkerer were pretty cool, but the Vulture was great. He's definitely one of Marvel's best villains. His motivations were very clear and made sense, even if maybe it was a bit of an overreaction. I don't know, from what we saw, it didn't quite seem like turning to crime was literally the only option he had left. But he was still a great villain, and Michael Keaton did a great job playing him. The humor was really good. It was just as funny as you'd hope a Spider-Man movie would be. A lot of it comes from Peter trying to get a grip on his powers and his suit, but the supporting cast contributes plenty to it as well. A lot of people who'd seen this said they didn't like that Spidey wasn't constantly throwing out quips and stuff like he does in the comics, but I think that wouldn't have worked here. Not now. He did get in some good jokes when he could, but this is Spider-Man at his very beginning. And most of the time he's too busy trying to figure out what the heck to do to think about jokes. But I think one of the best things about this movie is how it's really mostly about Peter. There's a ton of Spider-Man in it, of course, but it's Peter Parker's story, and Spider-Man never overtakes that. That's what's great about the Spider-Man comics is that when they're done right, they're really just as much about Peter Parker's day-to-day life as they are Spider-Man's. So, is this the best Spider-Man movie to date? For me, yes, easily. I know a lot of people love Spider-Man 2, and it's good, but this just got the character so right. And most importantly, it was just a fun movie. That's what's important to capture about Spider-Man, is that there is all this drama to him, sure, but at the end of the day, his character is just fun. I love that Peter Parker isn't burdened by being Spider-Man, not in the way he was in the other movies. He wants to be Spider-Man, and that's just great to see. It feels realistic. But end of the day, some might say this is overboard, but I'd honestly give this a 5 out of 5. I loved it. It was everything I was hoping it would be, and honestly, thinking back, there's just not much of anything negative to say about it. It was just really well done all around. I'll put up a spoilers discussion too, but just one last thing. For those of you who haven't seen it, you totally have to sit through the entire credits to the end. The end credit scene is huge. You gotta check it out. But in any event, let me know what you thought of Spider-Man Homecoming in the comments below. But keep it spoiler free, please. keep the spoiler comments for the spoilers discussion video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.